So good morning friends, welcome to Raj Malhotra IAS. So guys, here we are about to start. The PDF for today's session has already been uploaded. You can download the PDF. So let's see what exactly is there for us in today's newspaper. देखते हैं आज की अखबार आपके लिए क्या खास लेके आई है. So just give me a minute, I will be uploading the PDF. So the PDF has already been uploaded. You can download the PDF. And here we are about to start. चलिए अभी जो है इस सेशन को शुरू करेंगे and let's try to figure it out what exactly is there for us in today's session. So as you can see on the screen, this is the statement by none other than Bill Gates. Okay, we already know him, सब जानते हैं कौन है ये. And he is saying this: to win big, you sometimes have to take big risk. So here we should not, you can say, keep ourselves in a comfort zone कि हम पूरी लाइफ हमें कोई रिस्क नहीं लेना and everything is going to be smooth. So the point here is this: if you want to grow in your life, okay, if you want to grow in your life, you have to take that risk. Risk is required. There is no substitute for that. I know that risk is there, okay. I'm not saying that go for the blind risk. Always have some calculation in your mind, okay. So you can definitely go for the calculated risk. That's the most important point here. To achieve your goals, to achieve your dreams, this is what you need to do. You have to take risk, because to do big you have to think out of the box, and that is quite risky. Okay, you may end up in failure, and it is not per se failure, it will be a lesson of life जो सारी उम्र में आपको याद रहेगा. You will understand your mistakes, you will understand what are the issues that you experience during that particular journey, but there will be a satisfaction within you that you tried something different from others. This is what you have to understand. So those who are preparing for UPSC, now the success rate is really very low. We all understand that it's a risk, but all of you have taken it, that you must have a plan in your mind that okay, if I am not able to achieve this, then what will be my next goal, मेरा अगला गोल क्या होगा. तो उसको लेके आप पहले ही क्लियर हो, ठीक है ना, उसको लेके आप पहले ही क्लियर हो. दैट्स द मेजर पॉइंट हियर. सो वी डू हैव टू टेक रिस्क इन आवर लाइफ, चाहे वो प्रोफेशन से हो. ओके, so let's start this particular news analysis. Let's see what exactly is there for us in today's The Hindu first page. Okay, तो देखते हैं आज के first page पे क्या है. So as you can see on the screen, Putin mobilizes more troops, says nuclear threat not a bluff. Okay, so this is the significant development that is taking place here. Basically, Putin has called for up to 3 lakh reserved armed personnels to be used in the Ukraine war. Now there are two things which is forcing Putin to take up this particular stand. One thing is this: either Russia is short of troops. Okay, one message is this: either Russia is short of troops. This is one point here, okay, that they are thinking that they require more troops. Other point is this: Russia wants to emerge as an winner country with upper hand in this Ukraine crisis. Okay, but right now in the recent developments there were some news that Russians, they moved back and these areas were gained back by the Ukrainians. तो यहाँ पे कहीं ना कहीं यूक्रेन ने जो है कुछ एरियाज वापस जीत लिए हैं and Russians are moving back. Okay, other message is this: Putin wants to say that now don't force us to escalate. Okay, don't force us to escalate. Whatever we have captured, we will keep that. Okay, whatever we have captured, we will keep that. whatever you have, you just keep that, and let's end this war. Whatever we have captured, we will keep that, and whatever you have, you just keep it. Okay, so this is the message that Putin wants to send up to the Europeans. ये Europeans के लिए एक तरीके से मैसेज भेजा गया है यहाँ पे, that don't escalate it, don't take this war to the next level. Okay, that if Russian armed forces, they have to further move back, अगर यहाँ पे दोबारा Russian armed forces को पीछे हटने की जो है नौबत आई, then definitely there will be a threat of nuclear war. वहां पे फिर nuclear war का threat जो है वो increase हो रहा है. That's the major point that you have to understand, and he's saying this, we are not bluffing. If required, we will definitely go for this. Okay, now here I would like to throw some light over Russian, you can say, their idea or what method are Russians using at present. So इसको थोड़ा ध्यान से समझना है. Now Russia had this strategy. Basically they were thinking that they will use two generals. Okay, they were use two important generals, General Oil and General Food. So basically they wanted to use food and oil as a tool of war. Okay, they wanted to use oil and food as a tool of war. That's why I am labeling them as general. तभी मैंने उनको general बताया, ये military general है उनके. They play important role in the military action of Russia. First they were thinking that okay, after this crisis Europe will be under stress as there will be shortage of gas, कि इस क्राइसिस के बाद यूरोप के अंदर स्ट्रेस होगा, गैस की शॉर्टेज हो जाएगी. ओके, ऑयल प्राइसेस विल इंक्रीज एंड डेफिनेटली एज दिस विल बी एन एडिशनल बर्डन ऑन द पीपल ऑफ यूरोप. ओके, यहाँ से लोगों के ऊपर एडिशनल बर्डन होगा एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट एडिशनल बर्डन दे विल फोर्स देयर गवर्नमेंट ओके टू स्टॉप दिस क्राइसिस एज अर्ली एज पॉसिबल. कि यूरोप की जनता अपनी गवर्नमेंट के ऊपर एक तरीके से ये प्रेशर डालेगी कि आपको ये जो वॉर है उसको जल्दी से जल्दी खत्म करना है. दैट्स वन पॉइंट हियर. ओके, दिस इज व्हाट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. अदर पॉइंट वाज रिलेटेड टू फूड. नाउ रशिया इज अ मेजर व्हीट एक्सपोर्टिंग कंट्री एंड दैट व्हीट इज एक्सपोर्टेड फॉर अफ्रीकन नेशंस. वो व्हीट वहां से अफ्रीकन नेशंस के पास जाता है. So Russia was thinking that as there will be shortage of wheat, African nations will be under pressure. Definitely it will put additional burden on the governments in Africa and which will force the world powers. तो ये दुनिया में बड़ी बड़ी ताकतें जो हैं यूएन के अंदर, okay, US and the Western countries, they may have to recalculate. They may have to recalculate that how will they sustain, how will they help the African nations. This is what Russians calculated. Now इतनी बात चल गई, फूड का भी यूज कर लिया, ऑयल का भी यूज करके देख लिया. राइट नाउ ऑयल somehow Europe is managing it. Situation is not that great. I am telling you this thing. In Germany they are managing it very difficultly. Okay, and specifically in UK, in Britain, again the situation is very difficult because the gas they are getting it from say West Asia. It is costly. जो West Asia से गैस यूरोप तक पहुंच रही है वो costly है, वो उतनी सस्ती नहीं है जितनी जो है Russians provide करते थे. And as the cost of gas increased for the Europeans, the burden has to be passed on to the people. Their bills have already inflated. उनके bill already inflate हो गए हैं. Okay, and that's why people are not happy. They are in a difficult situation. Okay, so situation is like this. As winters are going to approach in UK, some people may have to shut their heating arrangements. जो अपने घर वो गर्म करते हैं, लोगों को वो सब हटाना पड़ेगा. That's the situation right now, and it is going to be really very difficult. So here this was the scenario and Russians wanted to use these two basic tools, that is food and oil, as their military components. Other important point here is this: Russian has a most effective general, that is General Winter. रशिया का सबसे ताकतवर जनरल कौन है? That is General Winter. Okay, because there is a history in Russia that majorly because of the harsh winters of Russia, major big armies have failed in Russia. बहुत बड़ी बड़ी आर्मीज जो हैं वो रशिया में आके फेल हुई हैं. नाजी जर्मनी also failed because of the winters in Russia, as they could not move out, because of the heavy snow in that area. इट रिसीव्स लॉट ऑफ मड, बहुत ज्यादा मड हो जाती है वहां पे, एंड द आर्म्ड फोर्सेस दे कैन नॉट मूव फॉरवर्ड। इतनी ज्यादा मड हो जाएगी, कीचड़ हो जाएगा और आर्म्ड फोर्सेस आगे नहीं बढ़ पाएंगी। दैट्स व्हाई इन रशिया द मोस्ट पावरफुल जनरल इज जनरल विंटर, बिकॉज इन द हिस्ट्री जनरल विंटर हैज ऑलवेज रिमेन ऑन द रशियन साइड एंड प्रोटेक्टेड रशिया। Again, in the present situation is as well, Putin is again putting emphasis on general winter. आज की डेट में भी पुतिन जो है, he is thinking that winters are going to start. This is just in a week, you can say winter will start. And as the winter will start, the requirement for oil and gas is going to further increase in Europe. As oil and gas is going to further increase in Europe, the demand for oil and gas is further going to increase in Europe, the people of Europe may start protesting against the government. लोग शायद जो हैं वो प्रोटेस्ट करना शुरू कर देंगे अपनी गवर्नमेंट्स के अगेंस्ट, एंड दिस विल फोर्स द गवर्नमेंट्स इन यूरोप टू टेक अ स्टैंड, दैट इज to end this war as early as possible. Okay, this is what they are capitalizing upon right now. And other point is this: if this is the first winter after war, okay, this is the first winter after war, if Europeans are able to survive this, if Europeans are able to survive this, then definitely they will have multiple alternatives with them. अगर आज वो इस चीज को survive कर गए तो उनके पास बहुत सारे alternatives यहाँ पे available होंगे, and they will be able to deal with this Russian crisis, and then it will be a testing case for Russia. So both the parties, European Union as well as the Russians, they are keeping an eye that how the winters are to be managed, कि विंटर वाकई मैनेज कैसे होगी. दिस इज व्हाट द होल गेम दैट इज गोइंग ऑन राइट नाउ. ये खेल चल रहा है. तो जनरल विंटर क्या सक्सेसफुल होंगे दिस टाइम? दैट्स द पॉइंट हियर. जनरल विंटर हैज नेवर डिसअपॉइंटेड द रशियंस. कभी भी रशियंस को जनरल विंटर ने डिसअपॉइंट नहीं किया. जो सर्दी आती है वो हमेशा रशियंस के लिए खास रही है. This is the most important point here. Okay, so here winters are going to be there, and I am telling you it's a long winter. 6 months की winter है ये छोटी winter नहीं है. It will start right now and it can stretch up to the February. Okay, and there will be snow, massive snow will be there. So here this is the test case, and it is going to be winters for the European countries as well. It means that the consumption of gas is going to increase. लुक एट द प्रेजेंट सिचुएशन दैट इज देयर इन यूरोप. अब आपको आज की डेट की सिचुएशन बताता हूं यूरोप में क्या चल रहा है. सो राइट नाउ दिस टाइम, ओके, एज ऑयल एंड गैस इज नॉट अवेलेबल, द प्राइसेस ऑफ वुड हैज इंक्रीज्ड. वुड महंगी हो गई है वहां पे, बिकॉज पीपल दे विल बर्न वुड टू कीप देयर हाउसेज वार्म. पीपल आर क्लीनिंग देयर चिमनीज. ओके, वहां पे उन्होंने चिमनी को यूज करना बंद कर दिया था. अगेन नाउ दे आर क्लीनिंग इट. The prices of coal has increased significantly in those markets. This is the situation right now because these countries are just looking for the arrangements. Okay, so how winter will be, you can say, dealt with, that's the major challenge, and this is how the whole situation depends upon. So Putin is basically signaling to the European countries that, okay, do remember winter is coming. Don't force us, don't escalate this issue. Whatever we have kept, we will maintain that. Persuade Ukrainians to not to move forward. Ukrainians को persuade करो कि वो आगे ना बढ़े. Okay, this is the point that you have to understand. This is what the overall game is about. ये पूरा खेल है जो आज यहाँ पे चल रहा है. Okay, and it is going to be a difficult thing, and for us it is going to be a really testing times. Okay, already because of this nuclear threat, the stock market has reacted. Stock market ने react किया है. Okay, and like further it is not a good sign. If this war escalates to say 6 more months, it will have a big dent on the global economy. पूरी global economy के ऊपर बुरा असर पड़ेगा यहाँ पे. This is what the situation is going to be, and global inflation is going to remain as it is. Global inflation भी as it is maintain रहेगा. And these US and European Union, they are the export destination for us. इंडिया जैसे कंट्री के लिए तो ये एक्सपोर्ट डेस्टिनेशन है. तो डोंट थिंक दैट इट इज नॉट गोइंग टू हर्ट अस, इट इज गोइंग टू हर्ट अस एज वेल. सो दिस इज हाउ द ओवरऑल सिनेरियो इज राइट नाउ. सो लेट्स pray for this, that this war ends as early as possible. Okay, otherwise this is how the games are played. वर्ल्ड वॉर टू की भी अगर हम बात करें, नाजी जर्मनी कुडंट मूव अहेड इन सोवियत यूनियन, प्राइमरीली इट वाज बिकॉज ऑफ द विंटर्स. विंटर्स आ जाती हैं, द अदर आर्मीज दे आर नॉट एबल टू सर्वाइव. नाउ सम ऑफ यू मे बी सेइंग यूक्रेनियंस आर द सेम ब्लड, यूक्रेनियन सेम ब्लड हैं. ओके फाइन, वी डू अंडरस्टैंड इट इज एप्लीकेबल टू देम एज वेल, बट लुक एट द ओवरऑल प्लान दैट पुतिन हैज मेड, that winters are to be utilized as a weapon. Okay, so subsequently as winters are approaching, definitely Ukrainians cannot move ahead. यूक्रेनियंस आगे नहीं बढ़ पाएंगे बिकॉज द मूवमेंट ऑफ द फोर्सेज आर गोइंग टू बी डिफिकल्ट, बहुत मडी हो जाता है वहां पे. इन द सेम वे रशियंस आर सेइंग दिस है दैट ओके फाइन, we will keep whatever we have and let's end this war as early as possible. तो वो अब इस सिचुएशन में है, they are putting pressure on the Europeans by coming out of these particular statements. Okay, this is what the overall game is about. So let's move to the next part. आगे चलते हैं. Here there is nothing much, कुछ खास नहीं है यहाँ पे. Okay, so a century later Nizam's sword set to return to India. तो जी ये 14th century ceremonial sword है and it belongs to Hyderabad Nizam, so it will be returned back to India. Okay, so this is the news. Other than that there is nothing much, and I am keeping this to you. Just let me know, this is your homework, what was the name of that Nizam? Okay, just tell me name of the Nizam whose sword is to be, you can say, received by India. उस निजाम का नाम क्या था जिनकी स्वॉर्ड जो है वो वापस आ रही हैं. ठीक है, so just tell me, just tell me. So this is how things are. So directly we'll move to the next point. सीधा आगे चलते हैं, देखते हैं और क्या खास है यहाँ पे. ओके, सो हियर वी आर मूविंग इन दिस डायरेक्शन. देयर इज नथिंग मच. सी, आर यू डू यू लाइक द न्यू फॉर्मेट ऑफ द हिंदू, बिकॉज दे हैव चेंज द फॉन्ट एंड ऑल. तो कहीं ना कहीं इन्होंने फॉन्ट चेंज किया है, ठीक है ना. सो प्लीज डू कमेंट वेदर यू आर लाइकिंग द हिंदू फॉन्ट और नॉट. See, हम कुछ कर नहीं सकते, we cannot tell anything to them, it's their prerogative, but we can definitely, like, are you finding it to be more interesting, or you can say better one, or you are thinking that okay it's a normal thing कि कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता हमें फॉन्ट से. ठीक है, so this is what the point is. So Vicky Gautam Yadav has come up with an answer. He is saying that Usman Ali was the name of that Nizam. Okay, so fine, let's move to the editorial section. Let's see what exactly is there in the editorial. So Hamid Ansari, former Vice President of India, he is coming out about few things related to the present, you can say, situation of fraternity and equality in this country. Okay, सो फ्रेटर्निटी एंड इक्वालिटी का क्या हाल है हमारे यहाँ पे, उसको लेके बात जो है इन्होंने कुछ कुछ स्टेटमेंट्स दिए हैं. सी, यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड लाइक दीज वैल्यूज आर एनश्राइंड इन द प्रीएम्बल ऑफ आवर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. ओके, प्रीएम्बल में ये चीज मेंशन्ड है, एंड आवर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इट promises that we will achieve equality and fraternity in this country. Okay, for that definitely we have DPSPs. यहाँ पे DPSPs हैं, यहाँ पे फंडामेंटल राइट्स हैं, यहाँ पे आपके यहाँ पे फंडामेंटल ड्यूटीज हैं. ओके, दीज प्रोविजंस आर ऑलरेडी एग्जिस्टिंग टू बेसिकली बैक द गोल ऑफ फ्रेटर्निटी एंड इक्वालिटी. तो इक्वालिटी और फ्रेटर्निटी को बैक करने के लिए आपके पास यहाँ पे DPSP और फंडामेंटल राइट्स जो हैं वो ऑलरेडी हैं. दैट्स द पॉइंट हियर. ओके, दैट्स द पॉइंट हियर. सो ये पॉइंट यहाँ पे आपको समझना है. सो लेट्स सी व्हाट एग्जैक्टली मिस्टर like former vice president is saying. So he's saying that okay, like principle of equality and fraternity, they are not to be separated basically. So liberty, equality, fraternity, we know that we got it from the French Revolution. French Revolution popularized liberty, equality and fraternity. So the basic point is this: now they don't exist in separation with each other. आपको एक चीज समझनी होगी, like this is a trinity and this trinity has to be together. That liberty is not possible without equality. Okay, liberty is not possible without equality. Equality is also not possible without liberty. कि सबको आप liberty नहीं दे रहे, कुछ लोगों को liberty दे रहे हो, और can you claim that it's equality? No, वो भी equality नहीं है. And when you are treating people differently, when you are curtailing their, you can say, liberty, fraternity will also not be possible. Fraternity primarily means the भाईचारा. तो भाईचारा भी यहाँ पे possible नहीं होगा. ठीक है ना. सो ये प्रॉब्लम कहीं ना कहीं बताई जाती है. ओके, लाइक दिस प्रॉब्लम इज डेफिनेटली गोइंग टू बी देयर. नाउ द पॉइंट हियर इज दिस दे हैव टू स्टिक टुगेदर, एंड इट वाज डिबेटेड बाय आवर लाइक कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट असेंबली, एंड B.R. Ambedkar came up with the statement as well. So B.R. Ambedkar, he mentions about this thing that fraternity assures dignity of an individual and unity and integrity of the nation. along with justice, liberty, and equality. And these principles were enshrined in the preamble of our constitution. That we have to facilitate these things. Without them, there is no meaning of having a constitution. If your constitution is not able to protect your liberty, if your constitution is not able to assure, you can say, justice, equality, then definitely there is no use of that constitution. Okay, so and the point was made that they have to be seen together. एक साथ आपको इनको देखना है, इनको आइसोलेशन में नहीं, अलग अलग करके नहीं देख सकते. Okay, this is the argument that Dr. B.R. Ambedkar came up with, and he said that to facilitate equality here, we came out with different tools. So fundamental duties were brought in after 42nd Amendment Act. Okay, and like Article 51 AE was included, and it was mentioned as a fundamental duty that it is the duty of every citizen of India to promote harmony and spirit of commonness among all the people, transcending the religion, linguistic, regional, and sectional diversity. So it is saying that like we have to treat people with harmony, we have to live in harmony, we have to maintain that equation where people from different languages, religious groups, region, they can live together peacefully. That's the goal that has been enshrined in our constitution, specifically mentioned in the fundamental duty. तो ये fundamental duty में जो है definitely mentioned है. Okay, this is what the whole idea is about. And the idea of fraternity, it primarily means that people have responsibilities to each other, that they have to live together and they have to grow together. This is what the idea of fraternity is about. भाईचारे की ये definition है, ठीक है ना? भाईचारे की ये definition है. Okay, so it was defined after the French Revolution in the following terms: do not do to others what you would not want them to do to you. Do constantly to others the good which you would wish to receive from them. ओके तो जैसा आप दूसरों से चाहते हो वैसा ही आपको उनके साथ ट्रीट करना चाहिए. दिस इज व्हाट द होल गोल इज अबाउट. दिस इज द आइडिया ऑफ फ्रेटर्निटी. ओके, ये फ्रेटर्निटी का आइडिया हमने यहाँ पे इंट्रोड्यूस किया. नाउ multiple presidencies has been established here, and you need to understand fraternity is not possible if you are not protecting dignity of an individual. Okay, किसी भी individual की dignity आपको जरूर protect करनी है. That's the important point here. And Dr. B.R. Ambedkar also mentions about this thing. He's saying that like these conditions are pre-required for the successful working of your democracy. That okay, if you want your democracy to work properly, then these are the preconditions that are to be looked into. ये conditions आपको जरूर अपने पास रखने हैं. Okay, without them you cannot say that your democracy is functioning. So equalities have to be assured. अगर सोसाइटी में inequality है तो यहाँ पे it means you are not democratic at all. So you have to remove the inequalities. There should be strong opposition. That's the important point here. So friends, opposition is required in the parliament. Why it is required? Because opposition will raise the voice for the people. जनता की आवाज जो है वो opposition उठाता है पार्लियामेंट में. ओके, गवर्नमेंट नहीं उठाएगी. गवर्नमेंट कभी अपनी गलती खुद थोड़ी ना निकालेगी. Opposition will find out the mistakes that are to be committed by the government in power. Okay, then the idea was that there should be equality of law and administration. Now there again India is faulting behind. हमारे यहाँ पे सबको इक्वली ट्रीट नहीं किया जाता है. ठीक है, वी ऑलरेडी अंडरस्टैंड दिस थिंग. ऑब्जर्वेंस ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मोरालिटी. अब ये ऑब्जर्वेंस ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मोरालिटी मीन्स दैट इट इज नॉट जस्ट द इम्प्लीमेंटेशन ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इन लेटर्स, बट इट शुड ऑल्सो बी कैरिड आउट इन स्पिरिट. ओके, तो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का जो इम्प्लीमेंटेशन है वो लेटर और स्पिरिट दोनों में ही आपको करना पड़ेगा. दैट्स द गोल दैट वी वॉन्ट. That's the goal that we want. That the implementation of the constitution, it should be both in letter and spirit. This is the major point here. Okay, and you have to avoid the tyranny of majority over minority. That also have to be addressed here. So tyranny of majority over minority have to be addressed. Okay, a functioning of moral order in society, पब्लिक कंसाइंस, दैट्स ऑल्सो इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट हियर. एक सोसाइटी के अंदर मॉरल ऑर्डर बहुत होना जरूरी है, बिकॉज विदाउट दैट योर सोसाइटी कैन नॉट सस्टेन, योर सिविलाइजेशन कैन नॉट सस्टेन. ओके, सो इफ देर इज मॉरल डिग्रेडेशन इन द सोसाइटी, यू कैन कॉल फॉर द, यू कैन से डिग्रेडेशन ऑफ द सोसाइटी. यहाँ पे सोसाइटी जो है वो धीरे धीरे खत्म हो जाएगी, फिर आपकी सिविलाइजेशन तक खत्म हो जाएगी अगर मॉरल डिग्रेडेशन आती है. सो वी हैव टू कीप इट इन आवर माइंड. We have to keep these things in our mind. This is what the idea is about. Okay, so we'll move to the next part. आगे चलते हैं. So here these are like letters to the editor. Now a risky new status quo. So it is regarding India and China. So basically we do understand that like patrolling point number 15, both the armies they have moved back. Okay, so friends, disengagement has taken place. डिसएंगेजमेंट का मतलब क्या होता है, वहां से जो है वो एक दूसरे के सामने नहीं रहेंगे, दे विल मूव बैक, दैट्स द डिसएंगेजमेंट. ओके, इट डजंट मीन de-escalation. It doesn't mean de-escalation that you are asking your armed forces to move back to the barracks. आपकी आर्मी बैरक में वापस नहीं आई है, सिर्फ डिसएंगेजमेंट हुआ है उस पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट से. ओके, दिस इज द पॉइंट दैट इज देयर. बट नाउ as this is the new situation, it adds some of the challenges to us. One thing is this, that with this arrangement India cannot carry out patrolling, okay, on the land that India claims to be Indian territory. हम अपनी जमीन पे भी अब पेट्रोलिंग नहीं कर पाएंगे, because that's the rule of engagement. That's the rule of engagement. Okay, so Chinese must have been ready to accept it, because Indian must have been ready to not to patrol that area, कि भाई कोई इसके ऊपर पेट्रोलिंग नहीं करेगा, it will act as a no man's land. This is what the point is. Now did we seriously wanted this? No. क्या वाकई हमें चाहिए था? और is it good? Certainly not. You are being denied to patrol your own land. आप यहाँ पे अपनी खुद की लैंड के ऊपर पेट्रोलिंग नहीं कर पा रहे हो. There can't be anything worse than that. Okay, this is the important point here. This is the important point, that you are not being allowed to patrol your own land. Okay, but this is happening right now, and this can become a norm. This can become a new normal. That's the problematic thing. You cannot allow this to become a new normal. आप बिल्कुल भी इसे allow नहीं कर सकते हो कि ये जो है new normal की तरह act करे. Okay, it is not going to be our interest. ये हमारे interest में बिल्कुल भी नहीं होगा. That's the point here. Other point that you have to understand is this. Now, like there are areas in which confrontation is still going on. So in the Dapsang plain, the still confrontation is there. Okay, no step has been further taken to deal with crisis in that area. कोई और step नबे नजर नहीं आ रहा है यहाँ पे. ठीक है जी. And other point is this, now de-escalation and disengagement, like it might have taken place in some areas, but overall the armed forces are present in the region. Okay, so at the Chinese end as well as at the Indian end, the armies are very much present. Both are working on their military infrastructure. Both are strengthening their military infrastructure. Definitely Chinese are ahead of us. Okay, but no issues with that. Chinese थोड़े आपको ज़्यादा आगे नजर आएंगे, but that's not a problem. We are also equally matching them out. Now when you are putting up so much weight, so much capital on your military infrastructure, on your military, definitely it means that you are preparing for the long term crisis. Okay, so this particular issue with China is going to be there for a longer time. आने वाले time में भी you will see this type of issue will erupt multiple times. बिल्कुल ऐसा होगा यहाँ पे. ठीक है जी. That's the point here. Now what we have done, India have reassigned one of the three originally Pakistan facing strike corps to the China front. Okay, so one strike corps को हमने China front पे भेज दिया, and it has deployed its new artillery, fighter jets and drones to the China border. The point here is this, what about Pakistan then? Are we so sure that Pakistan will not do anything like this? And what about the two front war situation? So whenever we are dealing with this crisis, so always you have to keep in mind there is always going to be a two front war situation. That's going to be a very bigger challenge for us. Okay, so we are getting new equipment from United States. We are planning to buy new fighter jets from United States. We are already modernizing our armed forces. We are modernizing our navy, etc etc etc. उन चीजों के ऊपर हम जरूर फोकस कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे. Okay, so here the major point is this. It means that not just in land, we need to work on our capacity in ocean as well. So navy also need to be given equal importance as compared to army, and both have to be modernized. Okay, दोनों को साथ में मॉडर्नाइज करने की जरूरत है. दिस इज द प्रेजेंट रियलिटी हियर, एंड यू नीड टू हैव द मिलिट्री प्रेजेंस. विदाउट मिलिट्री प्रेजेंस यू कैन नॉट डिसुएड चाइना. आप चाइना को डेटर नहीं कर सकते हो. That's the major challenge that we are facing right now. Okay, so rules for identifying criminals. Now government have brought some changes, or Ministry of Home Affairs, they notified rules governing the Criminal Procedure Identification Act. Okay, Criminal Procedure Identification Act 2022 and it has been you can say notified. तो ये जो है notified हो जाएंगे अभी थोड़े time में. So here there are some changes that have been brought in. One change is this, that National Crime Record Bureau under Ministry of Home Affairs will be one-stop agency for storing and preventing data of arrested person. Okay, so now these facts are important for prelims. ये फैक्ट प्रीलिम्स के लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है कि एनसीआरबी हैज बीन गिवन दिस इंपॉर्टेंस दैट इट विल बी द रिस्पॉन्सिबल एजेंसी विच विल preserve and store the data of criminals. Now other point is this, state government can also store data but it shall provide compatible application programming interfaces for sharing measurement or record of measurement with NCRB. So the point here is this, state government also can have the arrangement but वो arrangement इस तरीके से होगा कि NCRB के साथ आपको data share करना पड़ेगा. Okay, so these rules further notified that under the preventive sections such as 107, 108, 109, 110, 144, 145, 151 of CRPC, no you can say inputs will be collected. So कोई information collect नहीं की जाएगी, कोई information collect नहीं की जाएगी under these particular provisions. Okay, these are just preventive tools. So इनके अंदर कोई भी information as such जो है collect नहीं की जाएगी, fingerprint and all. That was the point here. Okay, this is the news. Other thing is this, the politics over Jharkhand domicile policy. देखो ये हर जगह शुरू हो गया है. It started with Assam. Now everywhere this same demand is saying that there should be a cut-off year to decide who are the real inhabitants of that area or that state. कि भी real beneficiaries कौन हैं, real inhabitants कौन हैं. So ये असम से शुरू हुआ था. Now it is being also being found in this case as well, in Jharkhand's case as well. So here the Hemant Soren government approved the long pending demand of Adivasis to make 1932 as the cut-off year of domicile under the Jharkhand definition of local persons for extending the consequential social, cultural and other benefits act. Okay, तो ये bill introduce हुआ है to give benefits to the inhabitants, local natives of Jharkhand. Now they are saying that cut-off year needs to be 1932. Okay, 1932 के टाइम पे तो झारखंड भी नहीं था. So this is how they are demanding these things. अब सब लोग अगर ऐसे शुरू कर दें that pointing out who is the domicile holder, who is the real native of that area, it will not be good here. Okay, वो ज़्यादा सही नहीं होगा. So this is what the point here is, and now they are going to discuss about these things. So ये एक major challenge निकल के आ रहा है. ठीक है जी, this is what the point is about. So we'll move to the next part. आगे चलते हैं. So here we have this news, Bihar free of Naxal presence. Okay, so right now this is the news that is there. It has been declared by CRPF chief. So you need to understand Naxals, they were the major problem and it was mentioned by Prime Minister Manmohan Singh. Okay, Manmohan Singh mentioned that at present we can deal with Pakistan based terrorists, but the bigger challenge is the Naxal presence. Okay, so even he pointed out about this thing कि भी कहीं ना कहीं bigger challenge क्या है, Naxals है. Now right now it has been really very good news that Bihar, Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh, they are being free from Naxal presence. Okay, so the influence of Naxals have really gone down. So Naxals believe in overthrowing the government. They don't believe in Indian constitution. Okay, वो Indian constitution में believe नहीं करते. They believe in overthrowing the government. They believe in overthrowing the government. So just give me a minute. And here is a list of operations that are being run in these particular areas. So you can keep a note for your prelims exam. Okay, so these were basically anti-Naxals operations that were carried out in these particular states. So in states में कुछ एक ये operations यहाँ पे चलाए गए थे. So you had like Operation Octopus, Operation Double Bull, Operation Thunderstorm, Operation Chakrabandh in these three states. Okay, and that led to the surrender of 592 Maoists. So here you need to understand, I would like to throw light on the Samadhan strategy of Ministry of Home Affairs. तो यहाँ पे समाधान स्ट्रेटजी के बारे में भी आपको मालूम होना चाहिए, दैट मिनिस्ट्री हैव implemented this particular strategy to basically control the presence of Naxals. Okay, so what exactly they carried out in this particular Samadhan strategy? See, what was the reason for Naxalism? Why Naxalism was spreading? Naxalism was spreading because there was alienation of masses, specifically the tribals. So tribals were alienated. Okay, tribals were having this complaint that government is not taking care of them, because when you talk about fruits of development, education was not there for tribals, schools were not there for tribals, hospitals were not there for tribals. Okay, so this used to be the situation there. ये बुरी हालत रहती है आपके नक्सल अफेक्टेड एरियाज के अंदर. नाउ एज दे आर नॉट बीइंग गिवन द बेनिफिट्स ऑफ, you can say, development, there will be a genuine complaint. Okay, other than that, government will take away their land. Government will take away their land for coal extraction, for mineral oil extraction, for mineral extraction. भी सरकार उनसे उनकी जमीन भी छीन लेगी और उनको डेवलपमेंट भी नहीं देगी. So here they carry out, the government carried out this particular strategy, that is Samadhan strategy, which deals with both the angles, which deals with angles at the end of armed forces as well as at the point of development. दोनों चीजें आपको साथ में चलानी थी, and this is what has been pointed out here. Okay, and specifically Samadhan strategy, it's about smart leadership, that you identify the reasons for alienation among the tribals, कि tribals आपसे दूर क्यों जा रहे हैं, पहले तो identify करना जरूरी है. Then there should be an aggressive strategy. There should be an aggressive strategy. So this is other angle that you have to understand, कि strategy बहुत aggressive आपको काम करना पड़ेगा. ऐसा नहीं होगा that for 1 month you are providing them facilities and second month you are saying that आप कौन. ओके, ये चीज भी नहीं होनी चाहिए ना कि एक बार आप काम करना शुरू करो बीच में छोड़ दोगे. कंटिन्यूटी होनी चाहिए. देयर शुड बी एडिक्वेट फंडिंग फ्रॉम द मिनिस्ट्रीज एज वेल, कि पीछे से पैसा पूरा पहुंचना चाहिए. दैट्स द इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट हियर. Other point is motivation and training. Now motivation and training for your armed forces is really very critical. See, do remember one thing. I hope you remember the incident where 80 personnel of CRPF, they were butchered by these Naxals. 80 personnel CRPF के मारे गए थे यहाँ पे. That was the situation there. So you have to have good training methods. You have to provide them with motivation and training. That's the really crucial point here. Other point is this, there should be actionable intelligence. Intelligence is the really important point. See, you have to use drones. आपको drones use करने पड़ेंगे intelligence gathering के लिए. Public gathering, public intelligence, that's also the critical point. Public intelligence तब possible होगी when the tribals are with you. जब tribals आपके साथ होंगे तभी तो वो आपको information देंगे ना. So this is the important point here. So do provide development to them so that people are with you. That's the important point. Have a dash based approach. Dash based approach क्या होता है? Where you have all the, you can say, everything has been documented. Everything is shown in a systematic manner. Areas where which you have covered, areas where you have excelled, areas where you have not performed. तो कहाँ पे improvement का scope है, कहाँ पे improvement का scope नहीं है, all those things have to be clearly specified. You have to use technology. There should be action plan for each theater. Okay, you cannot have this arrangement, uniform arrangement नहीं चल सकता. बिहार की अपनी लोकेशन है, छत्तीसगढ़ की अपनी लोकेशन है, झारखंड की अपनी लोकेशन है, उड़ीसा की अपनी लोकेशन है. Okay, so you have to take them separately and prepare your forces accordingly. This is what the point is. And finally it says that there should be no access to financing. This is the important point here, कि आपको नक्सलाइट्स की फंडिंग रोकनी पड़ेगी. नक्सलाइट्स की फंडिंग नहीं रोकोगे तो कुछ नहीं होगा. नक्सलाइट्स की फंडिंग रोकना बहुत जरूरी है. दिस इज द इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट हियर. सो इन दिस वे वी हैव टू डील विद दिस. इस तरीके से हमें यहाँ पे काम करना है. ठीक है ना. दिस इज व्हाट द पॉइंट इज अबाउट. So let's look into this now. Like, will EWS quota cut share of pie of those competing on merit? This is what CGI is asking. Okay, कि जो merit पे आ रहे हैं आगे, means general category, whether it is reducing the chances for them or not. So this is also what they are going to inquire here. वो चीज़ भी यहाँ पे ये देखेंगे. So let's figure it out कि क्या इसका आगे निष्कर्ष रहता है. Things will be clear after the judgment of the Supreme Court. चीजें तभी clear होंगी. Okay, right now the proceedings are going on. Now, how will students prepare for diversity when none is allowed in classroom? This is what Supreme Court is pointing out. They are saying that diversity primarily means that, okay, all the people of this country, they are allowed to live the way they want. They are allowed to follow whatever religious practices they want to follow. Now, here the court is pointing out, in the school, if you want to bring uniformity, अगर आप स्कूल के अंदर uniformity लेके आते हो educational institution में, then how will the students understand the diversity of the country? उनको स्कूल में ही तो समझ में आता है पूरा का पूरा दैट वी आर अ डाइवर्स कंट्री, बट विद डाइवर्सिटी वी हैव टू लिव टुगेदर, कि इंडिया एक डाइवर्स कंट्री है, बट despite being diverse, we are living together. They will be able to understand only through their schools, where they will interact with people from different community. बच्चे आएंगे अलग अलग community के, they will become friends and all. This is how things are done. So if you are not allowing diversity in the classroom itself, मतलब अगर वहाँ पे अगर कोई हिजाब डाल के आना चाहता है और आप बोलते हो कि नहीं आना, so it means that people will not learn diversity. People will not learn diversity. This is what the point they are making. Okay. So here is the another scheme which says that 19,500 crore have been planned for production linked incentive schemes for the solar cells in India. So this is what is being pointed out, and it's a good scheme that we want manufacturing of solar cells in India, कि आप manufacturing चाहते हो solar cells की India के अंदर. Okay, तो solar cell की manufacturing India के अंदर होनी चाहिए. ठीक है जी. This is what we want because it will contribute significantly in reducing our import budget. इससे आपका import budget जो है वो भी थोड़ा कम हो जाएगा, तो अच्छी चीज़ है ना ये, import budget थोड़ा कम हो जाना. Okay, so it will be a good thing. It will be a good thing. ठीक है जी. This is what the point is, and it is saying that it will help us in saving nearly 1.37 trillion rupees. Okay, and further, this is the initial investment that government is going to take up. तो ये जो है production linked incentive दिए हैं 19,500 करोड़ के. The point here is this will facilitate further investment. So 94,000 crore के around जो है यहाँ पे investment होगा, and it is going to facilitate, you can say, jobs and employment in India. तो India के अंदर भी jobs and employment को ये facilitate करेगा. This is what the major goal that we want to achieve. Okay, so that's the point here. Other than that, there is nothing much. कुछ खास नहीं यहाँ पे. Okay, so here we are heading towards the international page. Put patriotism first. China tells its Muslim citizen. Okay, so we already know that China carry out, you can say, they maintain concentration camps for the Muslims in the for Uyghur Muslims in the Xinjiang region. Okay, Xinjiang region के अंदर China ये सब करता है, but right now they are asking them to be patriotic first. Now I don't know what's the definition of patriotism for them. इस चीज को लेके हमें क्लैरिटी नहीं है. ओके, सो पुतिन हैज रेकलेस डिसरिगार्ड फॉर न्यूक्लियर नॉन प्रोलिफरेशन. दिस इज व्हाट बिडेन इज पॉइंटिंग आउट, एंड दे आर सेइंग दैट दे विल ट्राई देयर लेवल बेस्ट टू स्टॉप रशिया हियर. ओके, सो दिस इज हाउ द ओवरऑल थिंग इज. ये सारी चीजें हैं यहाँ पे, एंड हियर ऑन द इंटरनेट, ऑन द इकोनॉमी पेज, Asian development banks, they are saying that Indian growth is going to be 7%, and it has been curtailed down from 7.5% because of the present inflationary tendency that is present. Okay, inflation is not just the Indian creation, it's a global thing right now. आज ये पूरी दुनिया के अंदर inflation नजर आ रहा है हमें. Okay, it's a global inflation that is there, and like if this is the situation, your exports will be majorly hurt. Even in the domestic market, you can say the inflation is not that much. अगर हमारे domestic की बात रखें तो this month it is going to be 7%, which is still manageable. इतना ज़्यादा नहीं है. Target 6% होना चाहिए, लेकिन 7% ठीक ठाक है. But if you look into the European and the US market, it is crossing, like in European market, more than 9%. 9% से भी ऊपर चला गया. That's the alarming point here. Okay, so that's why this is the reason. Now, as the inflation is increasing, the demand have gone down. Okay, inflation बढ़ रहा है तो डिमांड जो है वो कम हो रही है यहाँ पे. ठीक है ना. दिस इज व्हाट द पॉइंट इज. ओके, दिस इज व्हाट द पॉइंट इज. सो एज डिमांड वेंट डाउन, डिमांड जो है यहाँ पे कम हो जाती है, सो डेफिनेटली यू विल बी इम्पैक्टेड बाय दैट. आपके यहाँ पे भी उसका असर आएगा ही आएगा. ग्रोथ पोटेंशियल इंडिया का भी कम होगा, बट स्टिल डिस्पाइट ऑल दीज थिंग्स we are still in a reasonable, you can say, good position. Okay, a relatively good position है पूरी दुनिया से अगर हम कंपेयर करें. Now cabinet approves uniform 50% support for chip display units. Okay, so again cabinet is giving approval for facilitating manufacturing of chips, semiconductors and panels here in India. Okay, again it's a good thing. It's a good thing because you have to reduce your import budget. आपको चाइना के ऊपर अपनी डिपेंडेंसी खत्म करनी है, because right now we are importing it from China. हम अभी चाइना से मंगा रहे हैं. तो first thing is this, we have to reduce that dependency from China. That's the major goal. Okay, that's the first goal that we have to keep in our mind. So this is what the overall scenario is about. This is what we have. Okay, so Wipro fires 300 for moonlighting with the firm competitors. Okay, so you should know the moonlighting concept. Moonlighting primarily means you are working in two areas. Okay, working in टू एरियाज, तो दो एरियाज में आप काम करते हो यहाँ पे दो अलग अलग कंपनी के लिए. सो सम ऑफ देम वर वर्किंग फॉर विप्रो एज वेल एज दे वर हैविंग अ सेकंड जॉब कि 9 से 5 जो है वो विप्रो के लिए काम करेंगे, आफ्टर 5 दे विल वर्क फॉर समथिंग एल्स और सम अदर फर्म. दिस इज व्हाट द ओवरऑल गोल इज अबाउट. ठीक है जी, दिस इज व्हाट दे वर सेइंग, दिस इज व्हाट दे वर सेइंग. So that was the point, and this is what we have in today's session. So that's it for the day then. Thank you very much.